Hello FlossTube, my name is Tamara, and in today's video I wanted to show you what I have finished recently, ready-made projects, what I have been, how I have been progressing with my ongoing projects, and what new projects I have planned to start. Okay, let me start with such a finish. This is the Turtle Pocket. The second one, because in one of my previous videos you saw that I already stitched the butterfly pocket. So for this one I had the original chart and the embellishment pack, and I had such a butterfly. This is not the original one, but I had it. And I decided, I also have in my stash the autumn pocket with owl. I have the everything for that one, everything. And I decided why not trying to stitch them all. So wanted to stitch the turtle butterfly, but I realized that this one is out of print, and I tried to do my best with what I had. So first of all, I used the fabric according to the key. So this is ice blue cashel linen, the DMC threads, which are called by the key. I also used the Wix Dye Works hand dyed thread Lucky, which is required here on the edges, so I used that one. And the beads, I used petite beads like in this one. I'm not sure if in the original pack they are the same, but I used these ones. And by the way, this one was a much easier stitch, as I don't know, it seems to me that, but by the way, this part, this one and this one, they are not difficult to stitch. Yes, there are a lot of cross stitches, everything is stitched, but they are not difficult. And this one was easy. Like this part and this part it was easier than this one. It had less stitches, and it had less back stitches. Yeah. And I already finished as the previous one. So in my case, this one and this one, they are not opening here like to have the Wix Dye Works felt here, so that you would put your needles here. Because in my case, I am not going to wind floss on these winders, and I am not going to use this part as part to put the needles. This one is going to be just decorative, how they say, for decorative purposes. Yes. So what I have as embellishment for this one, I have, so here I have a pin with a butterfly. This is from Susan Clark's Originals, the pin. It was purchased a few years ago. And here I have a pin, a turtle pin, which I made by myself. So the bead is a turtle bead. This is how it looks like. And these are Swarovski things. I like this one. And as a filler for the pocket already, I already showed you. So this is a turtle. I think also this also is for kind of decoration, because it's not a brooch, doesn't have anything. It's pretty heavy, pretty 3D. So this is the thing which is not the perfect one for this design, but I like it, how it looks like. It was purchased from AliExpress, and it was shamefully cheap. And this is how it looks when it stays here. And I thought about like coloring this one here, like the original one, but so far I decided not to go for coloring. Okay, I can color this one. If I won't like, I can buy one new from AliExpress, because they, as I said, they are very cheap. But so far I like this one as it is, because like the turtle from the pin, this one also is uncolored, and for me they are kind of like a match. I don't know, I like how they look like this. Yes. And by the way, I found in my stash apparently a couple of years ago, even more I think, I have such a vintage winder which doesn't come to any to any designs. It's just a winder, because Just Nan, as far as I remember, had a series of winders which were sold separately, just winders, and I have one of them. And this one, so according to the color of the other things, it would fit here, but it's not, it's a turtle butterfly, so this one is going to be with a turtle. Yeah, so 2 pockets are ready, waiting for autumn. Hope to have time to stitch and finish the owl pocket already. I finished stitching the gather moments, the part for the stitching tray, the last one, the 4th, with the ship on it. I mean, like this one, which has the ship on it. And I decided to show it to you quickly before finishing it, because in this way you can see better what is stitched here. According to me, this one was the easiest to stitch, so amazingly, but I finished it in 1 stitching day. Yes, the others didn't take me 1 stitching day, it was more. And again, amazingly, I changed just 1 color, so the white of ships and house, and so the white, where you can see the white, instead of using the silk which was given here, it's kind of ecru dirty. I don't know how to call it, but I didn't want my ship to look like this. You see, on this raw linen, they would have looked like, I don't know. I wanted them whiter. By the way, these are the threads, the leftover. It was enough of everything. There weren't a lot like initially, but take into account that the stitching is in 1 thread, everything is enough. So it's enough, and even there are leftovers. So what I changed it for? I changed it for Weeks Dye Works 1091 whitewash, it's called the color, and I changed for all the other previous ones, the white one I changed for this one. You see, I have very little, but till the end it's enough of this work, so this one was changed. For the previous ones, I remember changing the purple also. Here I thought about changing the purple, I mean like the purple of this flower, like the basket, but you know, I thought that if I'll change it, then this flower, which is here, won't have anything to go with, because this color of purple kind of goes with this flower. That's why I decided not to change, and I left it as it was, and I think it's nice. So I didn't use that bright purple I wanted to use initially. And that's it. So I changed just the white one, and that's it. Here are 2 houses. Usually it's 1 tall, kind of this kind of house. Here there is a 2nd house. There were some specialty stitches, the not the Smyrna, the Rhodos stitch. It was like here on this flower, and on this flower, and on this flower, but they are not so visible, I would say. The 2 buttons, so one is like the middle of the flower here, and one is a flower itself, it's here. There's a pond here actually with some backstitched fish in it, but they are not very well seen. If you would look in the preview, on the preview, you can see it better. I don't know if you can see it. It's like, come on, it's here. And they say in the instruction that the backstitch of the fish should be done with dark green, and I did it like according to the key, but it's not okay. If you're going to stitch this one and you want your fish to be seen, do it in black, because it's going to be much better. I understood it like there are 3 fish here. I understood after finishing backstitch on the 2nd one, but I decided not to like rip it off. I decided that I'm going to leave it like this one, because you know it's a small stitch which will go on the, how they say, on the back of a tray. So, and ripping off the back stitch which goes on the cross stitches, for me it's pure death. I don't like ripping off or frogging at all, but when this one concerns the back stitch, which is made like, not back stitch like this, you see, but because when you are ripping some back stitch like this, the one which is here, gather moments, this is one thing, but when you are ripping the back stitch which is on cross stitches, I hate it. I totally hate it. So this is how it looks like, and the next step is to finish it into a pin keep and insert it here, and I hope showing you very soon the finished tray. And this is going to be the 4th, and here is the finished one. This is how it looks like. This is how it looks like. You already saw the work, so And I think the most important thing which I can show you now is the fact that that was the fourth out of all these ones. So yes, I have the 4 of them finally. Stitched them seasonally as I like, and this is how they look like. Started with the Halloween one, if I'm not wrong, like in the autumn. This is how they look like. This is the Christmas one. This is the sheep one. I call it the summer one, the last one I made. And this is, I call it spring one with the bees. Yeah, I have been liking these kits for quite a long time, but it was a time when I found out their real, how do I say, size. And I was disappointed kind of that they are too small, because you see like my scissors, and they are kind of almost full scissor size. But then I understood that they are actually not for keeping, as much as keeping things inside, they are for, how do I say, for display, for kind of like aesthetic display. And that was the moment I decided that yes, I want to buy them, I want to stitch them and finish them in. For me it was, I would say that not all the shops who sell shepherd's bush have them, not all of them have them in how do I say? Not all of them have them in stash, in stock. They have to order it, but if you are patient enough, you can get all of them. So nothing is impossible, as I would say. So yes, happy to have this one, and I hope that a new series will start, because I love very much stitching series seasonally, as you noticed. And I wanted to show you how the things are going on with this design, because this one is going crazily fast. That's why I decided to show you in between something and tell you, so that I wouldn't forget until the how do I say, until the end of the stitching. So what you see here actually is stitching which I have made in 3 days and a half. Yes, I'm not kidding. At least for me, this is a great achievement. This is Dimensions Gold Petites. These ones are not easy to stitch. At least this one is not easy to stitch. And this one, I will remind you, this is Cozy Glen. This, I don't have the original preview, because the design itself, it has been out of print for many years, as far as I understood. I am not sure, but I understood that it wasn't even printed in China, you know, like the Chinese version with the things, with the numbers, with the threads. So this one has only the old US variant with the threads which you have to sort by yourself. What I have here, actually, it's a plate. It's a Franklin Mint plate, which is called the Cozy Glen, the same, and which has the same picture. So you can see perfectly what I'm stitching. I have a chart. By the way, I'm stitching in with a very interesting method. I have the chart, the original one, I mean the dimensions chart, which is in a very bad condition, but I downloaded that one for the key, so that I would have the original key, and for the original chart, so that I would check with the chart which I have on my iPad. I mean, like I'm stitching in an app, this one. There are differences, that's why I have to check. As fabric, I chose the 32nd count Belfast from Zweigart. Antique white is the shade of the fabric. Yes, it's larger, because originally the design is stitched on 18th count Aida. I have 18 count Aida from like the beginnings of my stitching, and I could replace it for original Aida. I didn't want to. First of all, because there are parts which are not stitched here, and they would look nice if there is going to be linen, number one. And number two, I have stitched already gold petites, and usually, I don't know, the stitches, they are very bulky. I don't know how to call them. I don't like very much that thing. That's why I took account larger, and I'll have a little bit larger design. So originally it should be 15 centimeters because it's a diameter, it's a round one. But in my case, this one already has almost 18, you see? So this would be the difference. There are a lot of colors. There is a lot of mess, if you can see here. By the way, I didn't take it out of the hoop because this one is going on so well. You see how it's going on here. But nevertheless, I'm stitching extremely fast. I enjoy enormously like changing colors, having so many colors. They are so vivid, so bright, so vibrant that I don't know how to call it. It's just very, very joyful project, this one. Honestly, this is a total surprise for me because when I looked initially in the chart, this one reminded me of Beacon from Gold Petit's Dimension. That one was the first Gold Petit I stitched, if I'm not wrong. I'll try to insert the picture of that one. And I remember when I started that one to stitch from like the down part, it was exactly the same thing. So I remember stitching that one so difficultly, so long time. I used to make mistakes. I don't know, either it was a long, because that one was 5 years or even more than 5 years ago. Even I wasn't so experienced as a teacher, as a stitcher, or I didn't have the app to stitch. I don't know, but it was very slow. And I was expecting that I would stitch this one in a month or even more. Thinking like, okay, I'll stitch a little bit, I'll get bored of all this mess, I'll leave the design apart, the project apart, I'll stitch something else, then I'll come back to this one. I was hoping to finish this one until the end of the summer. I still hope, because it's not finished, but taking into account that I stitched this in 3 days and a half, I truly think that I will need at least I don't know, 4 days if I'm going to stitch only this one, and I'll finish it. I'm trying to stitch everything. I started with the center, by the way. The center comes kind of here because this is a round design and I'm not sure with this one's where to go, what to do. That's why I just calculated where the center is and started. It was here. I said, okay, I'm going to stitch this house, the larger one. I would say the main thing which is to be seen in this design. And I just started with this mess, little by little building. You see, this is what I'm doing here now. You see, I'm building kind of everything color by color, trying not to go very far. This is the farthest I went, and I stopped because I wanted to fill in everything here so that I wouldn't make mistakes. On linen, it's very easy to make mistakes. There is a lot of half stitch here. That's why the design is going so fast. But again, you have to be careful because if you go only with half stitch, for example me, if I'm going to go here only with half stitch, I can make mistakes easily. At least this is how my mind works. So I finished this house and I decided, didn't know what to do. Go do here, do here. Then I decided that I want to go to this side. And with this greenery, I managed to go. So this is the edge, this is the edge. I already have 2 edges, so I have to go kind of like this. And having this one here, I stitched the second house. By the way, how many of you have noticed, I mean in the dimensions preview, that there is a second house here actually. On the plate you can see it easily, but on the design you cannot see so easily. So I stitched the second house. Don't have any backstitch here because I decided to finish everything, then backstitch this one here. And I decided that I'm going to work little by little here and do the sky, and I'll have for sure a good half. By the way, taking into account the percentage of this work, I have 46%. So it means that this work is half stitched. I don't feel that this one is half stitched. Maybe because I worked kind of like spread it out and I don't feel it. But now the point is that I want to continue stitching here. So stitching here, I have to finish the this woods here, this woods here, and do the sky. So when I'll finish all these things, I'll be able to finish the backstitch on the roof because it's not finished, this one here, and to do the backstitch on this house. Then going down and doing the front of the house. The pond, there is a pond with 2 ducks, I think they're ducks. So kind of this thing. I'll tell you more details about the threads and the things, I think, in the end when it's going to be ready, because I have some issues with the threads. Yes, started with dimensions threads, but I had to introduce here some DMC threads because dimensions were not enough, and I had to choose like through like the DMC card, floss card with the original ones. I just checked which one goes with which one. But I think this is the design which allows you to do this, as it's very, very colorful, and there are like a mixture of these colors, you see. So yes, I think I'll finish this one and you'll see what I have in the end. And I wanted to show you some of my new projects. These are going to be 3 projects, but they are small ones. Projects which I hope I'll finish quick. That's why I want to start them. So first of all, this is Shepherd's Bush, Thoughts of Home. I have the chart and the button. Last year I purchased it, I think. I like this design a lot, but something happened this year. I purchased the Jill Ransel mat for this design, and that's why I want to stitch this one here and now, how I say. So I have the, by the way, this is not an expensive design because here it says $6.50, the chart itself. I'm sure there are full shops where it can be even cheaper. And then you need such a button. At least on my button it says that I paid $6, so it's like $12.50. I don't think it's an expensive one. The Jill Ransel mat. I was always interested to see one of these live. I know that there are Shepherd's Bush designs which have in the kit the mat. I don't have such designs. And when I saw in a shop this one being sold, and this one is not expensive because the bigger ones are much more expensive, I decided that I want to buy it and try it. So I said, okay. And when this one came, so it was delivered, I said, I want to stitch. So I purchased this one without planning to stitch the design. But when it came, I just pulled out this one and this one and said, no, I want to stitch this one. But the design is very small. You understand that this is a like 2-day stitch, I think maximum 2 days stitch. And when I looked at the materials which I need for this design, apparently it was easy for me to get them because I need the 32nd count flax linen, which I had in my stash, didn't even have to buy it. And there is the variant to stitch in DMC or to stitch in Weeks Dye Works. I don't have anything against DMC. I think, for example, all my Just Nan designs where they give DMC, I stitch in DMC. So I'm not like kind of trying to look for silks and things like this. But here, if you look at the design, you can see that on the heel here. So there are parts where it can be seen that the thread is variegated, or how to say. And I said that I want the Weeks Dye Works. Looked what colors I need, and I decided to, okay, looked what threads I needed, checked in my Weeks Dye Works. I don't have a rich stash of which Weeks Dye Works, don't know why. I have quite a good, I would say, stash of classic color works, of thread gatherer, but not Weeks Dye Works. I had just these two. This is Onyx and Whitewash. This one is a little, and this one is not very much. And this one is used very often in the Shepherd's Bush designs, which require Weeks Dye Works. And I said, okay, I'm going to buy these two, and I'm going to buy the rest of them, which I don't have. And I bought them locally in a local shop, so didn't want to wait for the delivery for a long time. And what do you think? They had everything in stock except these two. I said, what a coincidence. These ones are going to be enough for this design because the design is small and it should be stitched in one thread. I'll think about it if I'm going to stitch in one thread. But it's enough. This one is enough for sure. And except this one, I bought this green. By the way, red pear, baked apple, and whiskey. I have leftovers from our shepherd designs, but not a lot of them. And I decided that what if I'm going to start stitching and, for example, I won't have enough and I'll have to buy and I'll have to wait, and when the new one is going to come, maybe it's going to be a little bit different in color. And I said I don't want to risk. And I know that these threads are going to be good for me for other designs, and this blue is a jaybird one. So I purchased these ones. These ones I wanted to purchase, they didn't have, but fortunately I have some leftovers. So actually I have everything I need to stitch this design. Okay, stitching it's one thing, but having the mat, I thought about framing it. So I ordered a frame, simple one, not expensive. I hope I calculated correctly the the measurements, because you know the frames, which is the tricky thing with the frames. You will say, what's so difficult to calculate the measurements of a frame? The thing is that not all of the frames have here, you know, where already the part which goes underneath the frame, not all of them have the same distance here. So the tricky thing is in this distance. I'll see. I ordered one on eBay, didn't come yet, but I hope it will come until I'll finish stitching. And if it's going to be okay, of course I'm going to try to frame it and show it to you. So yeah, this would be one start. I suppose this is going to be a stitch of a day, maybe maximum 2, because it's an easy one, you know, like shepherd's bush. It's an easy one, this one. Okay, and next, of course, it's going to be, of course, it's going to be Just Nan. The thing is that a dream of mine will come true. There is a design from Just Nan, from the series pattern packs. I think you know what they mean, pattern packs. I have here a second one. Pattern pack, actually, it's a design where you have, just like this one was like this, when you have kind of, you see, comes like with a window here. This is the preview. In my case, this is Pearl Orchid, and inside you need to have, of course, the chart. You have the fabric, and taking into account that these designs are out of print, the fabric usually here, it's a very tricky one to find nowadays. And there is, of course, the embellishment pack. In this case, it's the pack with the charm and some beads, and there is a piece of silk. In this case is the pattern pack of gingham quilt, it's called, this one. And this one is tricky to find, at least I don't know now. I haven't been watching the US eBay for, I think, a while now. But on our eBay, this one I saw just once, I think. At least when I saw it last time, a year ago, maybe more, on US eBay, it was $100. Really. And I decided that if I'll find this one for a decent price, okay. And I knew that this one can be stitched if you get the right materials. And the right materials for this one is just 2 components, which are difficult to find. So this is a charm, a tulip charm like this from Just Nan. These tulip charms are being sold, but they are very rare to find. I was lucky to find one, and this one comes with the tulips are pinkish, because this one is present in one more design by Just Nan, and I have it, but there the tulips are more bluish, purple, I think they are. But I found this one with the pinkish, and I'm super happy. You see this one. Except this one, I don't need any beads. I don't need any thread, like silk thread. I mean, like this one. Everything comes with DMC. So everything comes DMC, and no beads. And the fabric which is required here, actually it's Gratiano linen, 28th count, the red and cream checks, or how it's called, this one. This one also is difficult to find, but not impossible. So difficult but not impossible to find. So the piece which was more difficult to find for me, it was this one. When I managed to find this one, I had this one. I have a chart and I'll try to stitch this one, the pattern pack design Gingham Kilt. Didn't bring here, it requires, as I said, only DMC threads. Didn't bring it here, as I think everybody knows how DMC threads look like. Maybe I'll show them in the end. And already having in mind to stitch that design, why did I bring this one here? Because this one was a design which I wished to stitch for a long time actually, and I said, okay, if that one is going to be stitched, then this one is going to be the next one. So this is the pearl orchid. Here there is the pattern, the embellishment pack has the pearls, 2mm pearls, some gold petite beads, and it has such I wouldn't say it's a charm, it's an orchid, but it has to be attached, you know, like you don't remember how this thing is called when you have to attach it, you see, this one. And this one also has a piece of silk. And the fabric here is great. I like very much the color of the fabric. This, by the way, it's Swigert, it's 28th count, and it's Cameo Rose. Probably it's an out of print fabric because I haven't seen it being sold now, but it's very beautiful. And the chart, of course. The chart goes like this. So this one also is going to be stitched. This one, it's stitched also easily. Now this one also is difficult to find, but I was lucky to buy this one a few years ago, not many, but a few years ago, when still it wasn't so popular, you know, the pattern pack series, and I managed to buy this one for normal money, I mean. So this one also is going to be stitched, and I think it's going to be stitched easily. About this one, I know that it's not so easy to stitch on this kind of linen, but the design is not big. It should be like 11 on 11 squares like this ones. So I'll see. I'll tell you in the end what beauty I will have about stitching this one. So there are 3 designs, but they are not big, and 2 of them I think are going to be quick as well. I'm not so sure about this one, if it's going to be quick, but those are going to be quick. So, of course, you'll see in my next videos how these designs are progressing. That's everything I wanted to show you in today's video. I hope you liked it. I hope it was interesting for you, and see you in my next videos. Until then, bye-bye.